Welcome to our summer installation of the R2 webinar series. Today I'll talk about a new feature called Meeting Rooms. Meeting Rooms improves the user's productivity by allowing the user to efficiently utilize equipment in a show or event where it will be used in several different rooms at different times. This type of order consists of several steps. Meeting Rooms have multiple benefits of 1. Can be used for managing the same items which are used in different dates and time schedules. 2. Ensures that the items rented for an event are optimally used amongst different venues. 3. Single equipment or equipments can be efficiently used in one or more venues based on the sessions, and hence avoid overhiring, over-renting of items and equipment. Before or after the webinar, please submit your questions to r2info@unibiz.com. We will compile all the submitted questions and send out a Q&A document to all the attendees shortly following the webinar. I'll begin by describing the setup of meeting order. From the Launchpad, you'll click on the Account module to get into the Account module, where you'll want to start and create an event. In order for a meeting order to be created, it must be linked to an event. The meeting order will utilize the billing customer information, location, and dates from the event. Click on the Event button from the main account screen. From here, I will start to fill out the mandatory fields, as well as you will want to choose a location to have rooms for your meeting orders. You'll notice that I have filled out the name of the event, put in the show start and show end dates and times, as well as attached a client information to the event. From here, you can also put in a project, profit center if you need to change the sales manager or project manager. After you have selected all of this, you will want to go to the Dates tab and verify that your dates are valid and correct. Once you are done configuring your dates, you will want to go back to the General tab and add a location. The location generally will be the venue that you will be holding your meeting events in. There you will also have rooms selected to those locations. After you are done filling out the event, you will want to go ahead and save the event and exit to the account screen. Once you exit the account screen, you'll go ahead and cancel this order information screen, as it pertains to an event, not a meeting order. From here, you'll notice that my event tab is now selected with the information that I have filled out. Once you are ready, you'll click on the meeting order button to create a meeting order. A meeting order has two main parts which help in organizing the equipment. The first part to a meeting order is the template. This is where the rooms, sessions, and equipment are designated. The room orders are the second part. The orders are generated for each room, and within each, the equipment is divided between the sessions. Note that quantities for your equipment are not chosen on the template, but are determined rather in the room side. Now I'll go ahead and fill out my basic information of description and all of the other header information that I need. You can enter a comment if desired or needed. You can change the project manager if needed, salesperson as well, and customer contact as needed. From here I can go to my customer tab or my contact tab to edit the customer information or add additional contacts. The event tab will show you what event is being tied, which was created previously, as well as the location of the venue that you're using. You can go to the shipping tab and fill out the shipping contact, add shipping comments. You can choose a tax region, and you can add a room or booth number if needed. If you go to the payment tab, you can also select your payment method. As well as your payment terms, and enter a PO number. You will go to the Room tab, and this is where you can start to select your room. Now, because you have attached a location or venue to your meeting order or the event itself, you can simply click on the Add button. With that location comes up the rooms that were previously added before. So from here you can select different rooms. You'll notice that the rooms are now updated in this window, but as well as you can create other rooms if needed. The rooms that you create in this tab, or by using the Create button, will not be saved to the location or the venue itself. It is only unique to your meeting order. Once you are done creating all your rooms or selecting all your rooms in this tab, you'll go ahead and go to the Sessions and configure your session times. You'll notice that based on the show start and show end dates that were previously added for the event, it was already generated for each day. Day 1, on Monday of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and so on and so forth until Friday, day 5. From here you can select each session and start to create the session schedules that are needed. You want to configure the times properly for each session schedule. As you'll notice, I created a time frame of 2 hours for the breakfast of Monday for my session schedules, and then a meeting 1 and meeting 2. Now if I want to, I can have R2 auto-generate some of these session schedules based on hour intervals. So for example, I will go to day 2, and I will click on this button right here to generate, and I will define my interval hour schedules from 8 to 5 p.m. So I want an interval of 2 hours. R2 will automatically know how to calculate that based upon all the hours that are needed. And you'll see that it did fall a little short just because it wasn't divided correctly by 2 hours. There's a third hour essentially in the last one. Once you have gone ahead and done all of the days for your sessions. For the last 2 days, I will only go ahead and just create one session to quickly move this along. Once you are done with your Rooms tab and Sessions tab, you will now start at the template, and from here you can select items that will translate to each of the rooms once you are done generating the room order. So now that I am on my template side and my Room tab, I will go up to this button right here to select my inventory. We'll go ahead and select a few inventory as well as put in some quantity. Once I am finished selecting my inventory, I will go ahead and click on the select box. And it will add my inventory into my template. I'll go ahead and also select some labor. So once I change to the labor tab, this button will change to a search labor button. And once I'm finished selecting my labor, I'll go ahead and click on the select button to add the labor. You'll notice that now I have completed my template for items and labor. This will now translate all into your room order once you go ahead and select the button that says Generate Room Order. Go over here and take a look at this button. It will ask you and prompt you, do you want to generate room order? And you'll select yes. R2 will momentarily refresh your screen and say that the room orders are now created successfully. As you can see, once I've generated my room orders, you'll notice that the template now has shown you that there are 4 rooms that were generated. If you go ahead and double click on each room, it will not only translate from template to room order, but you'll actually start to see the inventory as well as the labor that is being used from the template itself. Now, if you ever need to update this or change any of your templates, you can go back to your template. You can add more equipment or say delete some equipment off, and then you can update completely for all of your rooms. What you want to make sure is if you go to the Room tab, you want to select which rooms you're updating. Now keep in mind that when you go ahead and update all your rooms, it will wipe out whatever was originally previously generated from the first time you generated the room orders. Okay. So what I mean by that is if I were to go ahead and select all my rooms and click on the Generate Room Order, all of the equipment that you see on the template as well as labor will translate into each of those rooms. Now I can go ahead and double click on a room and start adjusting the quantities as well as the labor that is correct for each room. If I go ahead and highlight a room and expand, or highlight an equipment and expand it, I'll see that I have some equipment for each day. So this is where I can start to designate each day how much equipment that I need for this particular piece. I can also go up to View and Expand All, and now I have a list of all my equipment expanded. I am also able to add blank lines as well as section headers if needed. and move equipment in the appropriate spot. I'll go ahead and quickly add in some quantities and change some quantities for each of my equipment. I can also take away equipment for rooms that I don't need it to be in. So for example, I will go ahead and delete a couple of these items for the San Francisco room, and I'll go ahead and update some of the quantities. As well as I now can go over to the labor grid and change my labor as needed. Once I've done this for my first room, I will also want to go to my second room and complete the changes there, as well as my third and fourth room in the meeting room. If you are familiar with the shipping and return tab, you'll notice that the information that we filled out earlier will translate to each of the rooms. You can also look at the payments where we had changed this to periodic billing, as well as our billing term and our payment terms. For your subtotal tab, you can see your subtotal as well as your tax and then the net value. You can also add a discount for each room. Each of your equipment should be pulling the price from what your R2 is saying, as well as your labor price. Some of the standard buttons up here are very recognizable: a new blank space, a print, a save. We got edit, delete, find, cut, copy, paste, your equipment, search screens, expand or collapse, comments. This is for invoicing, entering labor and items, and then your generate room orders. There are some new buttons that I would like to be mentioning. Buttons are for equipment requirement report, as well as the equipment detail by room and your generate operations order. So now that you have filled out your equipment in each of the room and you are satisfied with your equipment and labor for each room, as well as your meeting order, you'll want to go ahead and click on this button to print out the equipment required report. You can sort it by SKU or description, and you can run the report itself, and this report will generate a count of all your inventory for each of the day and let you know what is required for each equipment. So for example, this video lens, we know that we need 4 on Monday, 5 on Tuesday, 6 on Wednesday, 4 on Thursday, 4 on Friday. In total, the best optimal equipment that is needed is 6. This will accurately represent your equipment that is needed to be pulled, as this will prevent you from either overusing or overhiring your equipment. You can also print the equipment detail by room. From here you can select all the rooms needed, as well as define the dates. So if I wanted to, I will select all the rooms from my meeting order, start on Monday, and have it go to Friday. Let's say if I wanted to do an equipment detail by room only for Monday. So I can say my start date is 9/25, as well as my end date is 9/25. So now it will only print the equipment detail by room only for Monday. So when I run this, it'll let you know for each room Monday that is required. Room, comment, your equipment. With meeting orders, you can view your item side not only in this item centric, but you can view it in session centric. So if you go to the defaults tab and change this to session centric, it'll show you the session. So day 1, I need this equipment. Day 2, I need this equipment. Day 4, I need this equipment for the San Francisco room. If I go ahead and switch back to the item centric, it's now looking at your items and then it's giving days where you can change the quantity. So it's just dependent on how you want to view this. Once you are finished with your meeting order, you will now not only print these 2 reports, but there is also a print form where you can print to send out the meeting order form to the client. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. It'll show you your header information as well as the bill to or the order name, and it'll show you a list of equipment as well as your subtotal. When you're done generating the reports as well as the form, the next step is to generate an operation order. By going to this button right here, you'll click on Generate/View Operation Order, and it'll open up a window that will show you what is suggested and what is required for each equipment. So what you'll notice is you'll see that the lens here has a quantity of 6, suggested it's 6. You can also go to your labor requirement and take a look at that to view what's going on. Once you are ready for the operations order, you can click on the second button to generate operation order. It'll ask you to create a new one or use an existing one. So you'll create a new one. The final check window is your dates here. These dates are being used from the event itself, but let's say if you need to edit just some of the operations dates, this could be used to edit right now. For example, my prep, I will give myself a little bit more time, and my ship as well too. And maybe my return, I will give a little bit more time also. Once I'm happy with my dates, I'll go ahead and click OK. It'll ask me if I want to edit this operations order. I can click yes to view it. Now you'll notice that the operation order actually brings you into a familiar screen of a reservation or an R2 order. This operation order, which is given a unique number, is attached to the meeting order, but there are no prices associated with this order. You'll notice that there is no pricing at all. Okay. All this order does is create the task within the warehouse for prepping, shipping, pickup, and return. Those same tasks will appear when you go into your warehouse task, or you can simply click on View and look for the different tasks for each of fill, ship, return. From this operations order, you will also begin to take care of any equipment that is not available. You'll take care of your availability here. This is where you can assign purchase orders via sub-rental, inventory, transfers, or even do an exchange. Okay. I'll go ahead and exit this and save it. Now keep in mind, if you need to go back and update your meeting order, there are several things that you must take note of. Number one, if you go to the template and update your templates, you want to be sure that when you are selecting the rooms of updating, you want to make sure that each of these boxes are checked for all of your rooms or certain rooms that you're trying to update. You don't need to create a template, but you can also double-click into a room order and change manually what is needed for each equipment or labor within the room. Now, once you're done updating this meeting order a second time, or maybe a third time, or a fourth time, you'll always want to go back and regenerate the operations order. Okay. By clicking on this button right here, any changes that I've made will let me know. For example, if I take a look at this screen right now, existing operations order, It already gives me the quantity as well as suggested. So let's go back and make some changes. So I'll go to my San Francisco room and I'll go ahead and increase the number on some of this equipment. As well as decrease some of this equipment. Okay, so now once I'm done with this meeting order, I'll go ahead and regenerate the operation order itself. And you'll notice that there are some changes to my equipment. -7, suggested 25. There's an existing 32. Here, suggested 35, 15, operations of 20. In order to update your operations order, you'll go ahead and click on the second button again. But this time, instead of creating a new operations order, you'll go ahead and use the existing operation order. You go ahead and click on this button and click OK. You'll notice that the operations order that I created previously still exists. I'll double click it to select it. It'll ask me again if I want to edit. I'll go ahead and click yes to view it. And the equipment has been updated properly by the changes that you were made. Once you are done with this screen, you can go ahead and exit out of this. And now you are ready to invoice your meeting order. Once you're happy and done with your meeting order, you'll go up to the Done button and click to invoice it. Now by invoicing your meeting order, it will close your meeting order. So be wary of that. I haven't completed my payments, that's why it's not invoiced yet. But once I've completed my payment tabs as far as selecting the proper payment terms and payment methods, I can go ahead and invoice again. And just to recap, some report features and meeting orders are the equipment, room or equipment required report, equipment detail by room, as well as we also have a room pull list if you want to go ahead and view that. Selected for all rooms on Monday, and I'll click the run this. And it just gives a little different look of my pull list for each room on Monday. Note, the operation order has no charge at all associated and will close when the equipment is returned. So that operations order that we created, once again, has no charges and will close when all your equipment has been returned. The order is linked to the event, so you can view it in the account screen under the corresponding event tab. So what I mean by that is if I wanted to view the operations order, I can exit out of this meeting order and refresh my event. And I see that I have an operations order for my meeting order itself. Okay, I'm in Event, Order tab, and I see that I have this operations order. If I wanted to view it, I can double click to open it up, and here it is again, and make the changes that are needed or resolve any availability issues. If I wanted to view my meeting order, I will also go into Event, but this time I will select my Meeting tab. And from here I can look and take a look at my meeting order itself. If I double click, it will now go into the meeting order. If I were to highlight this and right click to expand, you'll notice that R2 generates each order number ID unique to each room of that meeting order itself. If you were to simply double click in one of them, it will just take you into the meeting order itself. And that is how you would build a meeting order. Thank you all for joining us. This concludes our meeting room webinar presentations. Once again, please email any questions to r2info@unibiz.com.